please, nurse. The EEG, the BP monitor, and the AVV.
Yes, certainly, Doctor.
And get the machine that goes bing! And get the most expensive machines in case the administrator comes. Lovely, lovely. Jolly good. That's better. That's much, much better. Yes, more like it. Still something missing, though. Patient. Yes. Where's the patient? Anyone see the patient? Patient.
Ah, here she is.
Bring it over here. Mind the machine.
Sorry, Dr. Spiegelman.
Come along. Come on.
Don't worry. Up.
Hello. Now, don't you worry. We'll soon have you cured. Leave it all to us. You'll never know what hit you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Drips up. Injections. Can I put the tube in the baby's head? Only if I can do the episiotomy. Okay. There you go. Legs up. Come in. Come on in, all of you. That's it. Jolly good. Come on. Come on. Spread round there. Who are you?
I'm the husband.
I'm sorry. Only people involved are allowed in here. Right.
What do I do?
Yes?
What do I do?
Nothing, dear. You're not qualified.
Leave it to us.
What's that for?
That's the machine that goes bing. You see, that means your baby is still alive.
And that's the most expensive machine in the whole hospital.
Yes, it cost over £750,000.
Aren't you lucky?
The administrator is here, Doctor.
Switch everything on. Morning, gentlemen. Morning, gentlemen. Morning. Morning, Mr. Pycroft.
Oh, very impressive, very impressive. And what are you doing this morning?
It's a birth. Ah, what sort of thing is that?
Well, that's when we take a new baby out of a lady's tummy.
Wonderful what we can do nowadays. Ah, I see you have the machine that goes bing! This is my favorite. You see, we lease this back from the company we sold it to, and that way it comes under the monthly current budget and not the capital account. Thank you, thank you. We try to do our best. Well, do carry on.
Oh, the bulb is dilating, Doctor.
Oh, yes, there's the head. Yes, 4 centimeters, 5, 6 centimeters.
Lights!
Amplify the ping machine.
Masks up!
Suction.
Eyes down for a full house!
Here it comes. And frightening. Here.
And the rough toes!
Show it to the mother. That's enough. Right, sedate her. Number the child.
Measure it, blood type it, and isolate it.
Okay, show that up. A boy or a girl?
Now, I think it's a little early to start imposing roles on it, don't you? Now, a word of advice. You may find that you suffer for some time a totally irrational feeling of depression. PMD, as we doctors call it. So, it's lots of happy pills for you, and you can find out all about the birth when you get home. It's available on Betamax, VHS, and Super 8.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
We have to apologize for that video, but it is so funny. Any Monty Python fans out there? You know, I've been in healthcare for decades, and we own a lot of that reputation. It's kind of frustrating as we experience what we saw today and recognize that's who we have been. And to that end, I've been on a journey. I've been on a journey to change the way I lead an organization. Along the journey, I met a good friend. Paul and I met, 15 years ago?
10 years ago. Yeah.
And we started making observations about what organizations do and how they do what they do. And we concluded that we have to change the way we lead. We have to do things in a different way. So together we started making observations. Paul's the president of Berrett Health, also the founder of the Berrett Institute. This is an organization that is focused on the patient experience. And as we've led both small and big organizations, we've made some observations, and we started writing these things down and started putting them into buckets. And we decided we'd write a book together. And so the working title was Leading Change by Changing the Way You Lead. We thought that was pretty clever. But from there, it got worse.
That's right. So our book is actually called Patients Come Second. And that gets us in trouble a lot, but it gets people to open the book. And what does that mean, patients come second? How could you say that in this era of patient centricity, patients first? Everything we're doing is about improving service to the patient. But what we believe is that we can't fix the patient. until we fix ourselves. And so we wrote this book to say, you know what, if we can build great teams, if we can create cultures of engagement where people love what they do every day, that's going to serve to improve our HCAP scores, reduce readmissions. It's going to help not only serve the patient, it's going to even make our organizations more financially successful as well. And so we came up with 10 ways to build a culture IQ. And now I'm understanding why people are figuring out, how do we use this? So the 10 ways to build a culture IQ. These are 10 things in our book that we came up with that we're going to go through very quickly to tell you what make these up. And what you'll realize, if you haven't already seen from some of the humor, that there's nothing particularly intellectual about this. It's all common sense. It's the stuff that's the right thing to do. And so first one is the importance of core values. And we know in every organization, particularly in healthcare, we've got the plaque on the wall that says this is our mission, vision, and values. The key is, do we live those every day? Do we live the values where they impact the decisions we make? We have a core purpose. We have our vision of where we want to be in 5 or 10 years. But what are those guideposts? And what we have to do is we have to remove it off the wall, and we have to paint it along the corridors. We have to know that in our meetings, we're going to be talking about the mission, vision, and values of our organization, because all the other stuff that we want to do to build great cultures is never going to work if we don't have this foundation of values that our people live by every day.
Now, we talked about the importance of core values. Next topic that we came up with is getting in the dunk tank. There are things that leaders must do that they don't really want to do. I recall when I was a hospital president early in my career, they had this hospital week, and they had the typical events and activities. And one of those was probably the stupidest idea I've ever heard. It's the dunk tank, right? So the hospital president is to sit on that plank, and people are to come up and throw balls and dunk them. And I'm saying to myself, really, I'm much too prestigious for this. I'm much too important for having a little fun. But I decided that, and the peer pressure was enormous, let me tell you. I put a suit and tie on, and then I put on a pair of shorts, and I got on that plank. And for the next 3 to 4 hours, there was just a long line of employees that were going to get me wet. And the experience kind of was pretty powerful because I recognized people wanted to connect with me, and I wanted to connect with them. And to that end, we started engaging in a lot of fun. And I recognized that people want to know the leaders on a personal level. So getting in the dunk tank was probably an important lesson for us.
I think also you got to realize that as leaders, we have to get out of our comfort zone. Now, this stuff comes real easy to Britt. He's the extrovert. I'm the introvert. I'd like to be in my office with the door closed, on the phone, talking to somebody. We have to let our hair down and realize that you can't just delegate this stuff. You have to get involved as a leader. The next one is, do we really care? And when I talk about that, I don't mean caring for our patients. I talk about caring about each other in the totality of their lives. How do we know what's going on with our coworkers? And I don't mean at work, but at home. What if there's a big event, there's a birth, a death, someone gets sick, someone runs the marathon, someone's son graduates from college? How do we recognize those events? So we, at our company, we have an intranet site called Barrel Cares. Everybody can go to that site, indicate what's going on in someone's life, sends an email to me with their picture, what happened, and that's immediately a trigger for me to act. I can write a personal note card. I can visit them in the hospital, attend a funeral, whatever I need to do. How long does it take us to write that personal note card and send it to someone's home? Right? 45 seconds? You've got to realize the impact that you have as a leader to impact people's lives, and that little note card can do it. So we have to be genuine about caring for others, and we have to show it and institutionalize that so we don't miss anyone.
Next bucket, as we discussed, is hiring for fit. Do we have the right team? Do we create a structure so that we bring the right players onto the great adventure that we're experiencing? That's been an important experience for me. Hiring someone who gets it is key. In the healthcare space, we do a lot of identifying clinical expertise and therefore assuming that they have the leadership qualities that will allow them to be successful. Nothing's more tragic than having a magnificent clinician being put in a leadership position without any coaching, any trainings, any spark of experience in that space, and then watching them fail miserably. And to me, I think the responsibility is to hire for fit and then coach along the way.
This is the tough one. No whiners, losers, or jerks. Who can tell me, raise their hand if you have nobody like this working in your organization. I better not see any hands raised. Come on. This is our problem as leaders, is that we bring people onto our organization. Maybe we try to hire them for fit, but then we realize that they don't. And we have people that are negative influencers. They're like a cancer in the organization. They bring everybody down. And what happens, especially in healthcare, is we just keep them and we procrastinate. We don't do anything about it. And Britt and I have spoken all over the country, and we hear all sorts of excuses. Well, this person does some really good work. Or the unions are going to prevent us from doing anything. Or it's HR's fault. Or you know what, I'm never going to get that FTE back if I give that job up. But have you ever been in a situation where you got rid of someone and the organization didn't thrive? And everybody's looking at you and saying, what took you so long? So we have to have the courage to act to get the right people on our team.
And you know when the whiners and the losers and the jerks are in your space? Because you get to work one day, let's suppose you had a flat tire, and you say, hey, I'm so sorry, I had a flat tire, I'm sorry if I'm late. And the person will say, that's nothing. I had 4 flat tires. Really, really. They suck the lifeblood out of you. And the dilemma that we have is we are a nurturing organization. We want to ensure that we bring everyone up. And there is a point in time, and I think we all know when that point in that time comes, when we've invested the effort, we've committed the resources, we've embraced them in such a unique way. It takes away from the rest of the 90% of the team, because that 10% are sucking the lifeblood out of the organization. To that end, it takes tremendous leadership courage. And even when we introduced this concept of no whiners, no losers or jerks, I got a lot of pushback from my staff saying, whoa, you're not allowed to say that. I said, well, do you want to work with a whiner or a loser and a jerk? Well, of course not. Well, then let's fire them. So keep that in mind. Outside the 4 walls, we believe that there's a commitment not only in the organization but outside the walls in the community in which we live. We believe that, I think we were taught in MBA school, that you're only focused on those 40 hours or 60 hours or 12 hours a day where they are at work. That's not, I think, an accurate depiction of what leadership is about. I think we look at the men and women with whom we work as a totality. Anyone who's had someone who's had a tragedy in their life with whom they worked knows that the job doesn't begin and end. It's one continual experience. And for those of us who carry the beeper all day, right, even to the night, when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? Besides say your prayers, you check your emails, right? Am I right? Experiences outside the 4 walls, both in the personal life, but also in the community in which we live. So we found that a vibrant organization embraces a responsibility to be involved in that community.
The next one's about measurement, doing the math. And I would say most organizations today have some sort of employee satisfaction survey. But here's the key. It's actually doing something with the data that you get and showing people what you've done and getting credit for that work. It's also about making sure that people can communicate with you not only formally but informally as well. So when I met Britt the first time and we were exchanging ideas about how to build employee engagement, one of them was the chat and chew, where Britt brought together leaders of the organization. I implemented that in my company, and every month I bring in 12 people cross-functionally, bring in some lunch, and all we have to do is ask them one question: how's it going? And they'll just start talking and telling you what's going on. And I took notes and I implement those ideas. We have to give credit for people that give us these great ideas. We have to react to what they do. We have to get credit for it. In our survey, at the end of it, it said, how did we do with everything you told us last year? We used to get low scores. We were very defensive about that because we thought of all the great things we did. And we realized we've got to empower people, get people involved in the process, market those successes to the organization, and get credit for it. William Marriott said the 7 most important words in business. I don't know. What do you think? As leaders, we think we know the answers, but if we can have a little patience, take time to let those answers come from someone else, implement them, give them credit for it, it's going to go a lot further.
Next bucket. It ain't about the money. Now, when we start talking in these terms, the CFOs in the room start getting really tense, don't you? A couple of them are kind of rolling their eyes saying, it is about the money. It's not about the money. We believe that there's a circle. You engage your team, create exceptional results. The economics take care of themselves. We've seen it time and time again, not only in healthcare, but in virtually every other industry. You look at the list of best places to work, those organizations have superior financial and economic turnarounds. I remember an experience I had with a division CFO, And we were sitting at one of those meetings, the budget meeting, and we were looking across the table and we were talking about FTEs and supply expense. And all of us have gone through those experiences. And there his face was just bright red. He says, "You don't get it. It's a business. You don't get it." And we were talking about in culture and engaging employees. This is a business. And right behind him, on the wall, was a picture of the mission statement. Above all else, we are committed to the care and the improvement of human life. In recognition of this commitment, we strive to provide high-quality, cost-effective health care to the communities we serve. So you got that tattooed right here. So it's, and it reminded me that it's the power in culture, that culture eats strategy every single day. So it ain't about the money.
It's also about the fact that we need to train and develop our people. And in organizations like ours, it's hard to do that. We all have big jobs to do, but do we take the time to realize that our people have mission, vision, and values? Our people want to grow. So have we articulated what that plan is? Do we set up programs like THR University and others to train people to get to the next level? There's that small percentage of people that love doing what they're doing, don't want to do anything else. God bless them. But most people want to feel that they have a place to grow. We have to give them that opportunity, share it with them on a regular basis.
I love this next one. We start talking about why we are here and what we're doing. We talk about that purpose and that meaning. And we can be attracted to organizations that have that same meaning and higher purpose. I joined Texas Health Resources because I saw an organization that had that higher meaning, that higher purpose. It is more than the day-to-day. There's a reason why we do what we do. We bless lives every day. And when I can join an organization that believes that, they'll make mistakes. There's no question about it. We have ups and downs, but by and by, that drives, I think, purpose, and it gets me up in the morning and allows me to go to bed at night grateful for what I've been part of.
I think for us as we close, what's most important is and are all the people that are not here today, that are doing the work in our organizations, that are on the front lines, that are supervisors, managers, that are leading these organizations to success. And if we step back away from the business for a minute, realize we're in the relationship business, no matter what business we're in. And if you take time to value your people, let them know that you love them, that you care about them, that you're here to help them achieve their visions, we're going to make for greater organizations, we're going to make for a better patient experience, and we're going to fulfill ourselves, because there's nothing that feels better about than being of service to others. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.